Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, we're checking out the OSEE GoStream Duet Kit. This is a fully integrated and portable solution for live streaming, switching, and recording, featuring an impressive 14-inch display. It supports both SDI and HDMI inputs and comes packed with really functional features. Let's get started. All right, welcome back, folks. This is Shane. So as I mentioned, we're going to be exploring this live switching solution from the folks at OSEE. Now, this is a full HD switcher and recording solution that covers all the standard NTSC and PAL frame rates, ranging from 24p to 60p. Now, this is a full HD switcher only and doesn't support 4K. So if you're looking for 4K, you might want to check out something else. Now, odds are this video will be quite long because there's a lot to cover, and I'll timestamp each section down in the description below in case you want to skip ahead, back, or forth. I'll also talk about who this kit is for, why it's an excellent solution, and if I encountered any bugs, I'll mention that throughout the review. Now, quick spoiler alert here, I'm very impressed with what this kit offers. The switcher is user-friendly, and the 14-inch screen, along with the power options, simplifies any live streaming or live switching setup that I've used so far. I really dig it. Before we get into this video, just a quick disclaimer. OSEE have provided this kit to the channel for this particular video, so big thanks to them for that. Just know all opinions are my own, and OSEE doesn't get to preview this video ahead of release. If you're interested in checking this out, I'll link it down in the description box below. Now, let's talk about price. At the time of filming, this entire kit is priced right around $1,099 US. And if you only need the switcher, you can purchase that separately for around 300 bucks. After using this kit as an entire setup, I find the convenience of this basically unmatched. And there's a few reasons why. One, we get this beautiful screen. You can open the lid, plug a power cable in, and you're ready to get going. It saves all of the setup that you might have to use by taking either an external monitor, an on-camera monitor, or setting it up in a way where there's lots of extra cables. So I think this price is justified considering it's as practical as it is. This OSEE GoStream kit is designed to be a fully integrated solution in the size of a small briefcase. This includes a hard case, screen, switcher, multiple power options, and optional internal active cooling. Now, the case itself is robustly built, featuring 3 cheese plates for mounting accessories directly on it. You can power the solution through a kettle plug right on the back of the case, or of course a power bank. Now, OSEE claims this can run up to about 5 hours with a 20,000 milliamp hour battery. And you can connect a battery pack via the USB-C port, which connects right in the center here. On the back of this unit, there's also a third DC power input, and right next to that, there's a USB-C port. Now, currently I'm powering everything via the kettle plug, which means that USB-C port on the back won't be active. So just keep that in mind. If you are powering it with that DC power input, then that port will be active and you can help power other accessories that you might be using. When I first set this up, I didn't realize how much less cable clutter I would have because the monitor is powered as part of the kit via one power cable on the back. Now, if you're using an ATEM Mini, which is a great device, and then you're using a separate monitor, not only do you need a cable going from the switcher to the screen, but you also have to power the screen or use a battery, all that kind of stuff. This simplifies the entire experience. Last time I was overseas, I shot maybe 20 videos at a guitar shop using the ATEM Mini Pro and an on-camera field monitor. And it was nowhere near as easy as just setting this up. You flip the lid up and you're good to go. Now, this is slightly heavier, obviously, being that it's a fully integrated solution like this, but it only weighs 5 kilograms or 11 pounds. And I think that trade-off, just for its simplicity, makes this a really viable option. While the end result of my project overseas was fine, I had to pack up and set up every day, and it was a huge pain, and things can just go wrong. Again, this really just simplifies that overall experience. Let's take a quick look at the unit itself here. So the cool thing about the switcher is it's roughly the same physical size as something like an ATEM Mini or Pro, but we also get the transition bar here. So if you want to do any type of wipe or transition, you can do that as well, which is fantastic. There's also a mix button over here if you just want to do a quick crossfade like this. It's nice and simple. Now, the beauty of this switcher is it has 4 HDMI inputs, 1 HDMI output, and 4 SDI inputs, and you can use a mix between them both. The HDMI output on the back can also be sent to another monitor or encoder, which is awesome. So if you plan on using this with even a larger screen or setting up a separate multi-view or program view, you can do that with any external HDMI monitor. While you're looking at the multi-view on screen here, you can go through the menu and also set this to program if you prefer to work that way, or set it to any of the input sources that you see on screen. Let's take a quick look at this switcher and how it operates. So it's nice and simple. Over here, we've got our program switching. So if you just want to switch between the camera views straight to your audience with hard cuts like this, you can use the buttons that are on top of the switcher and they'll light up red, denoting that that is the one that's currently active. Now, if you take a look on the screen over here, our program is on the right-hand side and our preview is on the left. So if I wanted to use the transition bar, for example, I can just push a button like this, then use the transition bar and it will do a crossfade like this, nice and simply. Now, this also comes in handy when you start to use picture-in-picture, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, one of the cool things about this is we've got our auxiliary, still 1, still 2, and super source. Now, if you take a look on the screen here, you can see that we've got auxiliary, still 1, and still 2. Now, I'm recording with this right now, and there's nothing saved to my SD card, but you can bring in media from your SD card and have it show up in aux. And if you're also using a webcam via the USB-C port on the back, it can also act as a 5th input, which I really like. So this really separates this from a lot of other switches. All of our audio controls are on this side, and you can see that in 1 is selected, which is input 1 being my primary camera. We have full control over our audio mixing. On the right-hand side of the multi-view here, you can see all of our inputs lighting up. Now, the one that's actually lit up really bright in green is the only one that's currently active, and that's how I want it to work. We also get the ability here to turn on audio follows video, which allows you to essentially have the camera and audio switch every time a source is selected. It's probably not ideal for most situations like that, but if you do need an audio follows video setup, you can set it up and it's instant. So as you switch, it will then change to the audio of that device. Over here on the unit, we've got our microphone 1 input. Our microphone 2 input is on the back of the unit, and we can select them thanks to mic 1 and mic 2 over here on the top. On the right-hand side of the switcher over here, we've got our fade to black button. So if you just want to create this sort of effect, you can. It just fades to black and mutes your audio. And of course, to get out of it, just hit the button again and you're back to where you started. This top right panel over here controls all of our recording and playback options. We've got our on-air buttons over here, which kind of relate to stuff like picture-in-picture and other effects, which I'll show you in just a moment. In the middle over here, we've got our macros, and by default, these are set to picture-in-picture, and I'll give you a full rundown of this in just a moment. This is just an overview of how this works. We've got our Chroma keying option over here as well. And if we go over to the far left, we've got our stream button. Now this can stream up to 3 networks directly out of the Ethernet port on the back, which is killer. So if you plan on using this with, say, Twitch, YouTube, or maybe Rumble or any other platform, you've got the ability to hit one button and go live to 3 networks without a computer. How cool is that? Let's take a look at the menu system. I'm not going to go through everything that this switcher is capable of, otherwise this video would be 3 hours long. No one's got time for that, so let's take a look at this. And right now I'm also recording the multi-view view that you're seeing on the screen here to the SD card, so it should give you a good, easy viewing experience for this particular section. So to get into the menu, just hit the menu button over here, and you can use this wheel to cycle down to the right or up to the left. And to get into something, all you need to do is push the button down. So it's a push button and a dial. So then you can see we've got our picture-in-picture options here. Now I'll just give you a quick rundown of everything that's in here, starting from the top. So it starts at color back and it goes all the way down to settings. We're going to actually go to start with settings here because there's lots of cool stuff in here. So we've got our firmware version here. We can also label our source input. So say for example, you got your gaming console in input number 4. You can rename input number 4. So instead of just seeing IN4 on screen, you can have it set to Xbox or whatever it is you're using, which I think is really cool. I don't think I've seen that sort of functionality on many switches or any switches up until this point. So I really like that. Now to get back out of the source name, we just tap menu and it takes us back here. Now, I went one too far, I already did it. But to go back out of something that you're in, just hit the menu button again, it's nice and simple. From the MV meter option here, we can turn on screen on our multi-view here the audio input for any of the channels or our program master as well. So that's our master output there as well, which is great. And this won't go to your audience, but what it will do is give you a good indication of safe levels. And as you can see, we can turn on all of these. If you're running auxiliary in either via a webcam or via a media file, you can also turn that on and it will come up on the bottom left-hand side of the multi-view in the aux area. Now, as you can see, we've got our multi-view layout option. So as you can see right now, it's preview on the left, program on the right. If you want to switch it around, so it's the other way around, you can switch it around in this option here as well. We also have some input window layout styles. Let's have a look at a few of these. So here's our second one where everything is over to the left. You know what? I almost prefer that. So this is how it looks by default. And as you can see now, I can't see input 4 because of the menu. So this is a good way sort of around that. I may actually leave that set to style number 2. Another powerful audio option here is we've got our mic input on the top, but there's also one on the back, and we can select them between line, which is a line level signal input, mic, and Mic+Power. So if you're running, say, a shotgun microphone that requires phantom power or power to let it run, maybe not 448 volts, but there's some of those like sort of consumer level shotgun microphones that require power, that's where you turn it on from. I think this is really cool. If you'd like to label your recordings a particular way, we've got our file name there, which is cool. Our out format is basically like our master output format, and I've got this set to 1080p at 25 frames per second because all of my cameras are running 25 frames per second. If I was running them at 50 frames per second or 60, I could set it up accordingly in here. Just know if you're, say, shooting at 25 frames per second with your camera, but you've got this set to 60, it might look a little bit funny. So just keep that in mind. I usually set it to the native frame rate. One of the really powerful things about this unit when it comes to its outputs is you can monitor any of your input sources out to an external monitor over HDMI. So if we go into this output source here, you can see that it's currently set to program. So if I was to run this into another encoder or an external monitor, I would be seeing the program output only, which is really cool. But you can also change this. So we've got auxiliary, which is our aux channel, input 4, 3, 2, and 1. And if I go the other way, I've got our program, preview, and multi-view. So that allows you to set it up in a way that works for you. Same with HDMI 2 as well. You get all those options. And same with the streaming recording UVC, which is what you're seeing hopefully on screen if all of this works. So the multi-view that you're looking at right now is currently being recorded to the SD card. If I wanted to change this to the program, I would go in here, use the dial and select program. Now, if we scroll down to quality here, we can select between low, medium, and high for our recording quality, and our streaming quality can also be set to high, medium, and low. So say, for example, you're on limited bandwidth when you're streaming, or you might be streaming to multiple networks, maybe select medium and see how your network goes with that. If you have no luck, you can set it to low, or you can set it to high if you're just streaming to one platform. I think that's really cool. Now, if you've got this hooked up to your network, you can find all of your network options here. It's currently set to DHCP, which means your router at home or wherever you're set up will assign an IP address to this once it connects to the network. If you want to set it up manually, you can do that as well. Another thing I can appreciate with this is that we can change the button brightness. So this is the LED brightness behind the buttons here. Currently it's set to 6. It goes all the way up to 15, which is way too bright. It's actually almost a bit hard to look at. 6 is the sweet spot for my setup with other studio lights, but I can bring it all the way down to 0. At 0, they're still lit up, which is great because you want to know what is actually happening here. It would be stupid if they were just all completely dark. So 0 is very dim, and 5 or 6 I think is the sweet spot. Now we've got an active cooling fan built into this as well. You can turn it on and off over here, but you can also set it between auto, high, and low. High is a lot more noisy, and while I've had it set to auto the entire time, I haven't actually noticed it. Now, if you've had this set to high and then you put it back to automatic, it just takes a few seconds before it ramps back down. So just keep that in mind. Within this menu system here, we've got our picture-in-picture options. You can change the picture-in-picture size, position, and all that kind of stuff as well. There's also some masking options. We can enable a border, which I really like, and you can also change the color of the picture-in-picture. See how it's currently set to blue? So if I set up picture-in-picture nice and simply like this, Let's add something that makes sense. There we go. You can see that I've got a blue border, for example. So if I get out of this and then I go over to the color, I can go to the hue section and then change the color of the picture in picture. And as you can see, it's changing in real time on the preview up top. I think this is great. It's just one of those really simple things to do that makes the world of difference. And of course, if I want to change the position of the picture in picture, I can hit memory 2, memory 3, and memory 4, because that's how it's currently set up. But this is nice and simple. It's great for gamers who want to just get a simple picture in picture look, but also have some color around the smaller frame. I dig it. Now to turn the picture in picture off, just hit the on air button and it will get rid of it, and then you're just back to where you started. Nice and simple. Let's cover some of the transitions because this is really cool. So if we turn on the wipe option, just with the button on the switcher here, and then we go into the transition option in the menu, go down to wipe, then we've got all of these different options. So by default, it's set to this wipe. So this allows you to go back and forth like this. Now, if that's not the one we want, we can go into the next one. Select this up and down one here, so you get a good example of that. We'll go to the next one. I'm not going to show you all of these, by the way, but I'll just show you a handful. It's like the barn doors kind of opening. It's funny because whether you're going up or down, the transition is the same. You would expect it sometimes to maybe reverse, but it doesn't work like that if you're new to this, so just keep that in mind. Then we can select another one. Let's go down to something else here. Let's try this one. I don't know what this is, so let's give it a go. Hey, that's actually pretty cool. That's one of the more interesting ones I've seen, you know, and of course you can set the speed at which this operates, which I really like. So if you want to go slow, or if you just want to do it like that, you can as well, but it allows you to really customize it to no end. I dig it. While these wipes won't be for everybody, I like the fact that they're there, and if you choose to use them, it's as simple as picking one from the menu here. But I still prefer just leaving it set to mix and switching over by using a sort of slow fade. I much prefer this, or of course just using the hard cuts on the switcher. The OSEE switcher also has a bunch of really powerful audio features built into it. So let's go into the audio mixer option here. And as you can see, we've got all of our inputs, and we've also got our auxiliary inputs as well. So this will be the media being played back into the switcher. Now you can see that we've got input 1 set to on, and it's lit up in green, which is cool. Now if I go back to the input number 4, which is the gaming footage, you can see that that's currently off. So say for example, we want to do, you know, like our actual gaming live stream, we can put that to on and then set the input level to whatever we like. Now I set this up ahead of time, so minus 26 dB means the gaming audio shouldn't be too loud, but the voice audio should still be nice and clear. And you can set this up however you like, but now you can see that input number 4 is lit up more bright than the other inputs, which are currently dim, which means they're not active. Now, if you're doing something like a podcast, for example, this is great. You could set up an XLR adapter on 2 or 3 cameras, however many you need, and then mix all the audio sources at once and have that go out to your audience. I love this. It's a really powerful feature. And the audio quality on this is great. If you're using a big old microphone like this going into an XLR adapter on your camera, it's going to sound awesome. But just know, unlike the A10 Mini, this won't do limiters, compressors, or noise gates, or anything like that. If you need to do that, you may have to use OBS, Open Broadcaster software. But yeah, it's a really cool way of being able to get multiple audio channels out to your audience. The benefit of this whole streaming solution here is you've got 3 destinations you can stream to at the push of a button. I love it. So if you go into the stream option here, you can see that we've got 3 different stream options. The first one we can have set to YouTube. We put in our key and all that kind of stuff, and we're in business. If we go to stream 2, we can change this to whatever we like. It's currently set to Facebook, and this third one is set to Facebook. But you can change this to any of the destinations built directly into this to make it easy, or of course you can load in a custom streaming profile to go to somewhere like Rumble, for example. I love the fact that it also has, where is it? I saw it before, Restream.io in here, which is a service that allows you to stream to there, and then that will distribute the stream for you. So this is all built in at the touch of a button essentially, and I'll show you that right now. So to go live, once you set this up, all you need to do is hit the go live button. That's it. And you're streaming to 3 services without the need of a computer. Now, let's say, for example, you're using ECAMM Live or Open Broadcaster software. You might be saying, hey, is this compatible with that? Absolutely. It can act as a webcam and be detected via the USB-C port on the back to a computer, and then you can use it like a webcam. So this offers loads of different functionality. You could in turn stream to 3 different services via this and then send another signal out over USB-C to the computer using Open Broadcaster software, ECAMM Live, or whatever you choose to use. So again, it's very powerful. All right, I got my green screen out. We're going to test out the chroma keying option. This is actually pretty straightforward to get going. So as long as your green screen is over the color picker, you're in business. And I'll show you that right now. So we go into chroma key here, all the way down to control, and X position is left and right, and Y position is up and down. So right here, I'm not sure if it's going to be on the screen or not. There's a little color selector. If I move my hand over it, you can see the current color change on screen. And if I take my hand away, it's back to green. So this is the color that the green screen will, or the chroma keying will pick. And as you can see, I've got the gaming footage behind me. Now, realistically, I'd either bring the camera forward or have a bigger green screen for this to work, but it's working really well straight away. Now, it's not properly lit, which is why it looks a bit funny behind me right here, but it's doing a really great job, and it was nice and simple to set up. Let's take a look at the GoStream software control, and I've hooked all of this up seamlessly. So my laptop is running the software wirelessly on my network, and now I've got the switcher plugged in via Ethernet. It gave me an IP address because it was set to DHCP. I entered that IP address in the software and it found it instantly, which was great. And this allows me to fully control the switcher remotely. So I can switch scenes nice and fast like this. And as you can see, it's doing it basically lagless, which is awesome. Now, one of the cool things is you can see how much time is left on your SD card if you're recording. Now, I put a 128 gig card in there. It's currently got 99.1 gigabytes left. Now, another huge benefit to this software is you can get into certain options a lot quicker than you can on the switches. So for example, if we want to change the transition type from this wipe like this, actually that's on the fade, the mix one. Let's go to the wipe. We can change it instantly just by clicking on them. And there we go. So we can set this up much faster than menu diving like you saw before. So that's really cool. And additionally, if we go into the audio mixer now and go to audio settings, we've got a mixer view. I think this is awesome. You can set up the balance for each of the channels and all that kind of stuff. So it's very powerful when it comes to its audio options here. Now, if we go over to live streaming, which is the stream icon here, we can now enter our stream keys a lot easier than you'd be able to do directly on the switcher. So again, if you plan on using this or setting it up for the first time, you can enter the details in on the software. It will save it then on the hardware. This is awesome. If we go to the playback and record option, we can see all the files that are actually on the disc. So you can see I've got 1 through 7 on here. They're all the files that I've recorded today producing this particular video. So that's really cool. You can also change the recording quality using the software as well. And then we've got our general settings here. So we've got all of these different options we can fully configure via the software, or of course we can use the menu on the switcher. That's up to you. Let's wrap this up. I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on the OSEE GoStream Duet Kit. This thing is awesome. I'm not gonna hold back here. This is by far the best live streaming solution I think I've ever used. While I've tested plenty of great switches, having everything built into a single briefcase style like hard case is phenomenal. This screen is so good. It looks really premium. This just simplifies it. I can now have just one hard case. I can plonk down on a desk, hook up my sources, plug in one power cable, and I'm good to go. It really does simplify it. And again, this screen enhances the entire experience. I'm used to working on a screen that's about the same size as the preview window on here. So having a 14-inch screen built into this is great. Or I'd usually be forced to bring like a larger 28 or 32-inch monitor with me, which is just another huge thing to carry. This is perfect, and ergonomically, the screen's set up in a way where it doesn't hurt your neck. You're not looking over a switcher with a screen or anything like that. It's just set up in a really intuitive way. All the different options with the frame rates and chroma key and picture-in-picture and all that kind of stuff makes this one of the best experiences I've had testing a switcher. Active cooling is really handy as well, and being able to power this, you know, multiple ways is great, and being able to hit live on the front to live stream to 3 different destinations all at once is killer. So Yeah, I haven't really got any complaints with this. My only small nitpick, if I had to put one in here, would be that I wish it could record all of the ISO recordings as well as the program, which means it would have given me 1, 2, 3, and 4, all those inputs recorded to individual tracks, and then also the program or the mixed end result. But I mean, there's no bugs. I haven't encountered any bugs using this, which is rare. Usually when I get something like this sent out, I usually find 1 or 2 bugs. I haven't found any. So big thumbs up to OSEE for producing something this higher quality. I'm really impressed. And if I was doing any sort of gaming or podcasting, this would be a no-brainer for any producer who's sitting behind a switcher. It really does simplify the entire experience. Thanks again for watching. My name's Shane. Leave a thumbs up if you can. Subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications. I'm doing a good mix of stuff between camera, lens, live streaming, and mic reviews, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd love to see you on board. Thanks again for watching and listening. My name's Shane, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.